Okay. All right.
Do you know how long that's going to take?
Well, you should know. You studied math at Oxford.
You want to give it a try?
You want me to hold your stick? Okay.
Yes, please.
Today's What You Wearing episode will be in the middle of Hong Kong at the flagship Breitling boutique with 3 watches, 3 Muppets, and 1 joystick.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of What You Wearing. Today, Breitling has invited us to their flagship boutique to check out some watches.
So everyone knows that Breitling is known for their pilot watches and ties to aviation. But why do pilots need watches?
Well, nowadays we have a lot of electronic instruments to help pilots with their calculations and navigations. But back in the day, people needed to use instruments to do that. And the watch is one of the instruments to help pilots.
That all sounds theoretically nice and well, but that's all it does talk. So actually, how does it work?
Well, instead of explaining it, why don't we put it to the test?
Okay, so to put this theory to the test, we have our in-house pilot, Captain Carlos.
Hi, welcome to THC Airlines. I'll be your captain for today. So for today, we are going to be flying from the south of Hong Kong to the Hong Kong International Airport.
So, we're going to start at Deepwater Bay, and then we're going to go to the Victoria Harbour. So this one is around 4 nautical miles. Do you know how long that's going to take?
Well, you should know. You studied math at Oxford.
Do you have a calculator?
No?
Don't worry, I've got one here. So, Carlos, what speed are we going to be flying at today?
So today we're going to be flying at 110 knots.
Okay, so 110 knots. For the first part, it's going to be 4 miles, so that will take around 2.2 minutes.
All right, let's go.
Hey, whoa. Okay. All right, so I've started the chrono.
All right, so we are now at the south of Hong Kong.
How do we know that?
All right, let's see. So on the left, you got your Ocean Park there.
Okay.
On your right, you got the, I think
Repulse
it's
Bay?
the Repulse Bay.
Yeah.
So the direction we are flying at today is at 3 degrees at the moment. And our speed is 110, as you can see. And we are at 1,700 feet. We're flying a little bit too fast.
Okay, so what's the degree we need to go next?
So the degree that we need to go next
Come on, guys,
is
hurry up. I'm
303. And that will take around 3.8 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, 3.8.
Okay, I've started.
So we're doing a 15 degrees turn to the left and 303, right?
Yes.
So in front of us, we have the ICC building. Jonathan, do you want to give it a try?
You want me to hold your stick? Okay.
Yes, please.
What do these buttons do?
You've got a lot of pressures, don't you?
Yeah.
So we've got a parking brake here, we've got a brake there, we've got a trim, and we've got flaps. Flaps helps us with the landing, and we are deviating from course. You are distracting me.
Okay, so another 10 seconds.
All right, and the next leg that's around 9 nautical miles, and it will take close to 5 minutes.
Okay. All right, and the degrees? 258.
258, yeah.
Okay. All right, go. Turn. 258.
258.
He's reset the chrono. Oh, I can see the runway.
Oh, yeah, there it is. It's a nice clear day. Imagine if you were flying this in a storm. You
Yeah.
can see anything. You have to trust your watch.
All right, so I'm gonna bring the power back a little bit. We're gonna aim at 1,000 feet.
What is this right now? Okay, we are at 3 minutes.
So it looks to be roughly accurate.
You'd better hope so.
All right, so we're gonna start our descent. Actually, we've already descended a lot. I'm gonna pull the power back a little bit, and then as we get closer, we are going to use the flap. So the flap is a device on your wing that helps you generate more lift at a lower speed, and you'll be able to see the flap extending.
Ah, nice flaps.
Thank you. So we're still a little bit too fast.
Well, you know what they say.
It's better to be early than late.
Oh, is he gonna stick it?
We made it!
There you go.
Woo! What's
Good
the time
job.
on the chrono?
4 minutes, 43 seconds.
So we're a little bit fast.
About 15 seconds.
That was close.
Well, we've scientifically proven that these pilot watches do work, and that Carlos is not too bad of a pilot.
Thank you. I was expecting something much worse.
So on that note, why don't we check out a few of the signature collections from Breitling, the ones with all the pilot chronographs. So I think we can't talk about Breitling without talking about the Navitimer.
The one you just used?
So I think the thing that's signature about the Navitimer is a slide rule, right? But going back to the roots of the Navitimer itself, it's actually a model that's requested by the AOPA. I think it's called the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, which is a civilian pilot association. Back then, like I said earlier, pilots needed to use these tools to help them with their navigation, right? And I guess the civilian pilots found this slide rule to be very useful.
So when I think of the brand Breitling, the Navitimer is the model that I immediately kind of associate them with. The slide rule was actually from another model, but they specifically changed the slide rule to be more aviation centric. You can do all sort of things on this, including what you just showed, which is to calculate time needed to cover certain routes, but also to check the conversion, for example, between kilometers and nautical miles.
And when you actually put them on the wrist, because of the almost non-existent bezel, very thin, it wears very well, even on smaller wrists.
Yeah, it did feel like a 41 when I wore it just now, but I think having the inner dial being a different color from the slide rule, it helps to shrink the feeling of the size as well.
One thing I also personally I really like is that the fact that the date they do not have it at 4:30. I'm quite OCD and I find that asymmetry a little bit annoying. So they have it at 6 o'clock, and if you don't look closely, you don't even notice it.
But I think if you're looking for something without a slide rule, with a simpler layout, then I think we can look at the classic AV line.
You definitely feel when you look at the Navitimer is that it does look quite complicated. So you want something with a cleaner aesthetic.
Yeah, and I think the classic AV has swapped the slide rule for like a timing bezel, a bit more classic, a little bit more dressy, I think.
I actually think this is a bit more dressy, so it feels like this would be for a airline pilot. One that's young enough, you can still see the small, very small indices. Your eye still works. When you get to a certain age, your eyes are not working that well, then this is the perfect one for you because it's got this really huge indices.
Yeah, well, the classic AV is based on an older model called the 765 AV. And I think that model was actually used by some of the military pilots before. 1953 edition is even smaller, right? It's true to the original
Yes, so they kept that one manual wind, 41 millimeters, so very, very wearable and very true to the original. Looking at all the iconic collections, we cannot talk about Breitling without mentioning the Chronomat.
Yeah, so I think Breitling started using the Chronomat name in the 40s, right? For the Chronomat model as we know it today, that actually started in the 80s, and I think they started making one for the Italian Air Force. But I think there are a few iconic design elements of the Chronomat, and one of them is bezel with the rider tabs, where you can actually screw out the tabs at 15, 30, 45, and 60. So you can actually switch the 15 and the 45, so you can change the function of the bezel from a count down to a count up as well.
When they first came out with this in the 80s, I actually thought that the design was quite polarizing. I mean, it was unlike anything at the time. You had these bullet bracelet. The bezel was designed. It was quite groundbreaking at the time.
I think at first they designed this for the aerobatic team. So this is definitely one of the more sporty pieces because they have to withstand all these Gs doing all the maneuvers. So yeah, this is definitely a lot more sporty than the other two, I'd say.
But today we have an even more special piece. It's the 88 limited piece edition of the Year of the Dragon with a dragon we call signet at the 9 o'clock, as well as a deep red burgundy dial.
Yeah, I actually find the dial itself to be a little bit subtle. Like when you think red dial, you think, oh, it might be really loud, but it actually only pops in like certain lighting angles, but most of the time it just looks like a really deep red, kind of like deep brownish actually.
Kind of have different color under different shades of light.
And I guess Breitling also updated the design, and now it comes with two rubber straps, and now it's on the plain one, and I think the other one has like the bullet bracelet design.
So it continues that design ethos.
So if you want to check out this watch, come check it out at the Breitling flagship boutique here in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong. Thank you for watching, and I wish everyone a happy Chinese New Year.
恭喜發財